Alex, KSI Press, and I'm here with Michael Steer, who returns to action next Friday at LFA 121. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to be talking with you. How are your holidays?
Good. Got got this fight on short notice, so it didn't affect any of my holidays. I had fun, ate a lot of food, drank some beer. Good.
Awesome, awesome. Is that going to affect your weight cut at all?
No, I stay pretty close all the time and put in some good work right as soon as I found out right away. I'm not a huge 35 or so. It's not gonna be too bad.
Awesome, awesome. But before we get to your fight, for people who don't know your story, how did you get into mixed martial arts?
Yeah, well, I played a lot of different sports, and I never I always watched a fight here or there. Thought it was cool, but finally one day I just got Fight Pass and started watching all the archives, and then just got hooked on it. So it was just from sitting down in front of a computer, drinking beer and eating pizza and watching fights. So after that, I found the gym that I'm at now, and I never trained anywhere else, just Warrior Camp in Spokane. And man, came in at a 6 a.m. class because I knew a guy who knew a guy, and whatever, we came in at the same time, and started training and got my butt kicked pretty good in jiu-jitsu. And I was already thinking about MMA, so I stuck to the jiu-jitsu for a good 6 months or so, to about a year actually, before I started really working on any MMA.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it's always interesting to figure out how how these fighters found mixed martial arts. So it's coming up on 2 months since your last fight with Cameron Jordan. How did you feel about that performance?
It's pretty good. That was a weird one. I felt really. I think he kind of felt the same way. For some reason, we kind of felt pretty flat. It was a weird. The worst I ever felt going out to a fight, but that I still, I felt okay while I was in there, but beforehand everything was kind of weird. But the performance itself, I mean, he came out pretty strong. He's a good wrestler. Took me down right away. I just didn't want to be up against the cage there. So I mean, unless I'm standing up, it's what happened kind of. And yeah, I felt good once I felt him, how he moved, how strong he was and whatever. And then I got pretty confident after that. So no, I think I got punched once or twice. There really wasn't much anything, so you can't complain.
Of course, it was a nice night at the office. You're 5 days out. How are you feeling?
Good. Just got back from the gym, hitting mitts with Pablo, my coach. He's always holding mitts for me, and it's always keeping me sharp. And all last week I felt good, so got at least one hard weekend, so that was good. One full hard week, even though it's a little bit short notice, but it's not bad because I was in the gym every day before that, so just not quite as hard a training like I like to. So, but this week coming up, just a couple of days and fly out on Wednesday, so most of the work's done.
Awesome. What gym do you train at?
Warrior Camp in Spokane Valley. That's the one I started at. Pablo Alfonso. I started pretty much the same time that he bought the gym. Joel Thomas is the original owner and the founder of the gym. He's still around doing a lot of stuff too, but they kind of do some work together. And I started right around the same time as Pablo. I mean, I started jiu-jitsu a little bit before that. My jiu-jitsu coach is Jesse Hardenbrook, and from that 6 a.m. class, and does a few other classes too. But MMA coach and head coach is Pablo.
Awesome, man. There's a bunch of crop of fighters coming out of Washington right now, and just like the new breed coming.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. There's a bunch of gyms that popped up, and some big name guys that came over here for jiu-jitsu and whatnot. Pablo obviously being one of them, coming all the way from Florida. So freaking point to point, it's awesome though. Yeah, a lot of good guys, and then some of the old guys, Michael Chiesa, the big names, and Juliana just got a belt. Crazy. It's all in Spokane too.
Yeah, no, it's wild, man. There's a bunch of names, like Terrence McKinney is another one. It's nice to know that Spokane's getting some love.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, doing round after round, back and forth with Terrence, hit and miss with Pablo. He's ready.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I did want to ask, who are some of your training partners this camp?
Yeah, pretty much same as usual. Josh Reddinghouse, he's freaking veteran, man, and he's always pushing me. Israel Gonzalez, he's a flyweight but really really tough kid. He's always my training partner. Brian McDowell, he's a little bit bigger, but he's a nice guy. He doesn't go too hard on me. And then of course Terrence, Cody McClanahan. I got it's kind of a tight group of guys that are all pros or real good amateurs, and that's the most of the guys right there.
So you're making your LFA debut next Friday. How does that make you feel?
Good, actually. I mean, Pablo, that was kind of his goal for me, is to get into LFA. That was kind of the next step. He told me that probably even before I went pro, was that he kind of knows the path that he wants to take each one of us, and it's different for each of us. But he thinks that this is going to be a good show for me, and I think so too. I like LFA, and I mean, it's awesome being on Fight Pass. That's pretty cool.
You're fighting a fellow undefeated young prospect like yourself, Alden Coria. How do you like that matchup?
I like it a lot. I mean, I heard that he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and I mean that's where I'm at too. And so I kind of like that. His striking looks pretty good. I think I'm going to be a little bit bigger than him, but like I said, I'm not a real big 35er, so we'll see. He might, if he's a big 25, we'll be similar size. But I like the stylistic matchup because I like the way he strikes. He's got a lot of movement, kind of similar with that, and he looks like he does a little more Muay Thai style, a little more kicks. I kind of have my coach Pablo's got a little more of that Cuban boxing, it seems. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
How do you see the fight playing out?
Well, I always like a knockout, but because I only got one of those, I want another one. But okay with anything. I always, I've only had 3 pro fights, 3 amateur fights, but they've all been finishes. So finishes one way or another. I only take what comes. I don't force anything. So whatever's there.
Yeah, I mean, you have a 100% finish rate. Is that something that you're looking to continue?
Yeah, absolutely. Why waste the cardio if you don't need it? But I do have good cardio, and I like to push the pace because we do every Friday. We, on top of the regular sparring that we do day to day, we do 10-round sparring, and I don't skip around. And when you're going against people like Josh Reddinghouse and Terrence McKinney and Brian McDowell, they're killers, and it's one after the other. So it's good. It's good to keep the pressure on.
What do you want your 2022 to look like?
Well, I'm trying to get at least 3 or 4 fights this year. It's been obviously spotty for a little bit here, back and forth. I had a few cancellations last year and stuff that just set me back a little bit, but mostly keeping the volume up on fighting, and obviously staying undefeated if I can, and always looking for those submissions and knockouts. If I can get a highlight reel of that, maybe look towards a even bigger organization. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, man. It was a pleasure talking with you. If you have any sponsors, any social media, the floor is yours.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, I'm basically on Instagram exclusively. I don't. Maybe I'll start a Twitter eventually. We'll see. But no, I have one main sponsor, and that's just Jars Cannabis. I'm actually repping the shirt right now, but they sponsored me for High Rollers when I did their competition. That was fun. I really appreciate them down there, and the other sponsor is just myself. So, shout out to me.
Awesome.